Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. My name is Richard Raub, and it's my pleasure to be the music director and conductor of this. Wait a minute, I'm checking here. We have headline news breaking. Another hostage has been taken. U.S. naval ships sent to the Barbary Coast, to Morocco, Libya, Tunisia, and Algiers. Except that was the early 1800s, not 2014. Real life. Our U.S. Navy was started to fight the pirates at the Barbary Coast, North Africa. For hundreds of years, they made their living abducting ships, taking vessels, ransom, taking the goods, selling off the slaves, and then selling the ship back to the appropriate countries. Now, eventually, some countries got wise, and they said, okay, we'll pay you some money to let us alone, and that was called a tribute. And for a while, the United States of America paid that tribute, and at that time, it was 1/6 of the national budget. And finally, President Jefferson said, enough is enough, we can't afford this, and he started our Navy and sent them over there and blockaded them, and eventually things got resolved. This opera was written in 1813, so it is 100.5 years old. I feel sometimes close to that after these long rehearsal days. There was an event a few years before this opera was written where an actual Italian woman was abducted, and she was taken and put in the harem of the Bey, the leader of Algiers. There was another opera written prior to this opera with the same story. Rossini, at the age of 21, had just written, I think it was his third opera, Tancredi, and enjoyed a great success with it. And management came to one of the theaters in Venice, came to him and said, we just had a cancellation, for next month. Can you write us a new opera? And he said, sure. And this is the opera he came up with. Because time was really limited, he took the libretto from the previous opera, intact, didn't get another librettist. He just took that. He said, this is now the story. I'm going to write the music. He wrote the musical numbers. He handed all the recitatives off to his assistant, said, I don't have time, you write them. And this is the work that he came up with. It really is a brilliant work. It is problematic on many fronts. From the musical, I can only speak for the musical fronts. It's so odd. He makes odd choices. And it's interesting to see, having worked on other operas, and Barber Seville, his most famous one, was 3 years hence written. So a lot of changes in the time from when he wrote this. He relies on woodwinds a lot. So it's going to be very high and thin and dee in your face and in your ears, that kind of a sound. Unlike a lot of his other orchestrations where the orchestra is always commenting or preparing you for something, this orchestra is really not that way. We just give the singers the chords, keep the beat. It's all really up to them for the coloration and the theory and the meaning. Oh yes, there's this also, the unique thing, the percussion. He writes Katuba, C-A-T-U-B-A, which stands for Casa Turca Banda. So Turkish band drums. Now that isn't defined. That could be any number of things. It could be triangles, it could be cymbals, it could be drums. There's an instrument called the mezzaluna, which is this long, tall stick with bells on it, highly decorated. And it's left up to the discretion of the conductor what instruments are played. Now, he says which numbers he wants them to play and when he wants them to play, but as to what and how, it's left up to me. So it was nice to deal with it. It was just another thing to have to deal with, unfortunately. But that's all settled and done. I'm looking forward to that.